Hello everyone, my name is Paulo Alves, and on this channel I'll be building this app that you can see in different technologies. So on the last video I introduced to you the app is income and expenses control app, and I will be building this first version using Angular for the front end. So let's get our hands dirty. First of all, download Visual Studio Code. This is the IDE that I'm gonna be using to make the development. Alright, so let's go to the Angular page. As you can see here in the main page, Angular is a web development framework. So a framework is a structure that we use to build software with. It comes with a lot of tools and helpers that we will need to create an app, like navigation, forms, tests, and so on. So let's start by going to the documentation and taking a look at Angular. The documentation of Angular is huge. It has a lot of stuff, a lot of things to learn from it. And if you wanna start quickly, you can go to these tutorials here. They have a tutorial, a tour of heroes, where you build some simple app, and it's pretty good. So I would recommend you to do this tutorial and also to read the Understanding Angular and also the developer guide. So let's start by installing Angular. Here on the setup we have all the prerequisites. So you need to know a bit of JavaScript, HTML, and CSS, and also it's good to know TypeScript, not required, as it says here. TypeScript is basically JavaScript with superpowers. So to start working with Angular, we first need to install the dependencies of it. The first dependency is Node.js. You can come to this page here, nodejs.org, download the latest version and install it in your machine. Pretty simple. Node.js, it's a JavaScript runtime environment. So when JavaScript was built, it was built to run in the browser, right, in the web. But someone made the Node.js, and now we are able to run JavaScript in our computers, in our machines and servers and so on. So just download Node.js, install it, and then you can come here to the terminal and insert Node.js ---- version, so you know that you have installed if you see the version here. Alright, with Node.js comes Node Package Manager, which is npm, and with npm we can install libraries and we can create a lot of stuff with it. Okay, so the first library we are gonna install is the Angular CLI. So you have to copy this command, paste here. It will basically tell Node Package Manager to install globally the Angular CLI package, right? Library. So Angular CLI means command line interface, and it will allow us to run commands for Angular in the as I'm running these commands here in the terminal. And then after you have installed this, you will be able to actually create the app. So to create an app using Angular is pretty simple. You just need to run this command. So ng, which stands for Angular. This is the CLI that we just installed, right? It comes here. So I'll tell Angular to create a new app, and this new app is gonna be called Expenses Control Angular. I'll click enter, and then it will start creating the Angular project. So it asks me if I would like to install Angular routing. I would say yes. Routing it involves navigation, so let's just do it. It asks me which style sheet format I would like to use, so I'll just use a CSS. It's the one I'm more comfortable with, and it's creating the app, installing the packages. Alright, after a few seconds we see a new folder here in my main folder with the name of the app and some files and other folders, right? So this is the project. This is the base project that Angular gives us to start. Okay, so now let's run the application. To run the application, I just need to do two things. First, I will enter the folder of my project, and then I will tell Angular to serve or to run to start the app. Alright, now we can see that the project was compiled successfully, so there are no errors, and we can run our project in this URL here. So I'll copy, open a new tab, paste it, and then we can see the base project of Angular. Alright, so this here, all of this is inside of this folder that we just created. This is our project. So the code is inside of here. Alright, let's see if there is anything else that it says. No. Okay, so the next thing I propose us to do in this video is to go folder by folder, file by file, and talk about it. And so we know the structure of Angular and what each file is for. Alright, so let's do it. Okay, so the first two folders, we can just ignore them. They are like hidden, we are never gonna touch them, and they don't matter to us in this case. So this folder here, Node Modules, it actually contains all the libraries that are necessary for our project to run. So basically we are never gonna touch this here manually. We can install new libraries by telling Node Package Manager to install and then the library name, and then it will create a new thing inside of here, but we should never change it manually, because every time we reinstall the libraries, the changes that we did manually here will just be overridden. So just don't do it. Alright, so Node Modules has all the packages, all the libraries we use in our project. This one, the source folder, this is the folder that has the whole code, everything that you can see here. So first let's start with the index.html file. This is just a simple file where we have some tags, and this is the title, for example. If I'll change the title to just expenses control. If I save it, you can see that it will change here on the top in a few moments. Okay, maybe I have to restart. Yeah, so it changed. And then all the code that's generated by Angular, it's put here in this approot tag. So if I go inspect the code of this app, we can see that I have that structure that's here and some other things, and in the approot everything is inside of it. So if I delete the approot, everything is gone. Alright, so this is the main point of entrance for our app. Talking about the app, we have the app folder, which has the main components and files for the app. First we have the app module, which a module is basically used to unite things that belong together, right? So the app module is the main module of the app. If we create a new page, that page would have its own module with the things that belong to that page, that matter to that page to run. So for our main app to run, we need the app component, which is the main component of the app, the first one that's loaded. We import some components here, some modules actually, the browser module and the app routing module. The browser module is actually from Angular. It has stuff related to the browser platform. And we have the app routing module, which is in our app, so we can change it. Alright, so app module has everything that's interesting for that module. Routing module, it has the route. For now we don't have any, it's just loading the HTML in the first place, in the main route here. And then we have the HTML code. So here all this HTML code is translated to this thing here. All right, so let's try to change something. I'll change this resources text that's here. So I'll change to hello world, right? Hello world. If I save it and I refresh the browser, we have here the hello world text. Okay, so here is the HTML. Basically, it has the HTML is the structure of the app, the structure of the page. Then we have the CSS files, which are like the things that make the page look nice, right? So for example, if I just say that everything should have a background green and I save it, we'll see stuff should look nice, but it, as I said, but it's not looking nice. We just changed the way the app looked, right? So let me remove this, and then here we have again it looking now, yeah, nice. So HTML is the structure, CSS it's how it looks. We have the TS files. TS stands for TypeScript, and this is where this component files, component.ts files, is where we are gonna put the logic of the page, right? If a user clicks a button, so what's gonna happen with that click, after that click will be set here. Like if I click on this reload word, it should, I don't know, show a message, show an alert. So let's just do this quickly. So I'll create a function that will show an alert, informing with the text alert on it. I'll come to the hello world tag. I'll add a click function here, click event, and inform that this event will call this show alert function that I just created. And when I click hello world, it shows an alert. All right, so here instead of just simply showing an alert, it would have the functionalities, it would have the actions of the page. So just to refresh, HTML structure, CSS how it looks, TS the actions of the page, the functionalities. We also have spec.ts files. These are the tests for the page, for the component. So in these videos we are going to be working with TDD, which stands for test driven development, which basically means that we are going to develop the tests first and then actually add the code to our components and pages. All right, it's a pretty good way of working. So that's how we're gonna do, because the idea here is we do the things in the best way possible, right? So HTML files, the structure of the page, CSS how it looks, TS actions of the page, spec the testing of the page, right? So with this we finish this app folder. Then we have the assets folder. Assets, we are just gonna put images that we wanna use, or icons or anything else. So we'll put all here. You can see now that it has nothing, just an invisible file here. Then we have the environments folder. This environments folder, it has two files, one not environment.ts and one for production. So here in these files we could put things like URLs that the APIs, with the APIs that are going to be called by our services, or configurations that we need for the app to run, or the languages, for example, or anything that we need to change from development, which would be this file, to production, right? So in development we should call the development APIs. So we would have a URL here with the dev-api.com, and for production we would call the production API, so it would be like prod.api.com. And when we build the app targeting production, it will change this from this here, from development to production, this is already done with some, you can do it simply with some commands from Angular, from Node.js also. All right, so now we have the favy icon. This fav icon is just this icon that shows up here. You can change it. It's better to change, right, with your logo, your brand. So we have the main.ts file. This is basically the file that starts everything. We don't need to go into details because we almost never change this. But yeah, you almost never change this, but if you need to do something before the app starts, so you can do it here. Like, so this basically bootstraps the app module. It starts the app module. If you need to do anything before that, you can do it here. So polyfills, we are not gonna change anything here also, usually. Maybe if you have something really specific, you can change it, but I actually never did it. So let's just go to the next file, which is styles.scss. This, as it's written here, right? It's global styles of the app. So let's say I have a button, green button, and I want that every button to have that green color. So I could just create a green button here, put the background green and the color white, and this will be visible to every page, every component in the app. This SCSS here, it's visible only inside of this file. The other one, the styles.scss, is visible everywhere in the app, right? So we have this test.ts. This is basically like, it's same as main.ts, but for tests. Never change it. Also, maybe you need to change for some reason, but I never did. I never had to change this file. All right, so let's go to the next one. This tree we can ignore for now. We have the angular.json file. This file has some configurations for Angular and also for the commands we use to like build our app or to present our app. Do you remember that negserve that I put here in the terminal to run the app? So we can add some configurations to it here. So yeah, so we have build. All right, build. So when we build the app, we have two types of configurations: the production configuration and the development configuration. You can see that in the production configuration, for example, it changes the environment.ts file with the environment.prod.ts file. All right, so we can add some configurations to Angular in this file. This, yes, we change. It's a good file to put this kind of stuff that change from environment, from the dev environment to the production environment. Okay. Here we have the karma.conf.js file. This is a configuration file for Karma. Karma is the testing library that comes with Angular by default. So if you need to change any kind of configuration in your tests, you can use this karma.conf.js file. We have here the package.json file. It has some configurations also of the whole project, right? So we have here the name, we have the version, we have some scripts that we can run. Take a look at, if I run, let me stop this. So if I run, instead of ngserve that I ran before, I can just run npm start, that you can see here. And what this is gonna do, it will run the ngserve. If I wanna build the app, I can run npm build, and then it's gonna do this here, right? So this is good because we can put configurations here and not have to type them all the time. Let's say I want to start my app not in the 4200 port, but in the 4000 4201 port. So I can do this and I will still be just running the npm start command, and all the configurations are gonna be taken, right? So this is just for simplicity. Let me remove this because I don't need it. So we also have here the dependencies of our app. So these are the libraries that our app needs to run. We are going to be adding a lot of things here using the npm install library command. And below this we have the dev dependencies. So these are dependencies that are used in development. Like Karma is for testing. We use Karma for testing, so we don't need this in production testing. We need this only in development, so this is here. But on the other hand, the routing we need in production, so we can navigate from one page to another page. So we have this as a dependency for production, not as a dependency for development. We had then a README file. It just explains some stuff about the project. All right. tsconfig.app.json. This has some configurations of TypeScript to translate TypeScript into JavaScript. So we are going to be programming in TypeScript, but at the end the browser will be running JavaScript. So these last three files here, they do this. They translate TypeScript to JavaScript. And I think that's it for today. We created our project and I explained to you all the files and folders that we have in our project. On the next video, I'm gonna probably create the GitHub project repository so we can save our project there. And after I save this project in GitHub, you all be able to have access to it, right? So you just go to GitHub, where is it? And then you can download the project from here, okay? But that's for the next video. Don't forget to subscribe, give a thumbs up. If you have any comments, put them below. Any documentations or anything, all those URLs I'm gonna put on the link below. Not on the link, but on the first comment. And also I'll create a Discord server so we can chat there. You can ask me anything, and it's easier to talk than in the messages here in YouTube, right? So that's it. See you on the next video.